We've certainly got plenty of things to do this week. We started repotting as many things on as we can. Just put them into a tub a little bit larger so we encourage that growth. And I've still got these plants that we've not even took out of the cells that we originally grew them in. These are butternut squash plants. You can see we've got quite a lot of roots growing on these, but they're not going to get any bigger anytime soon unless we move them on. So that's one thing that we definitely need to get sorted out. I've also got this container. We've sown lots of parsley in it, and you can see it's come up really well. This is just going to be planted on into a bigger container all in one clump. We did that previously and now that clump is that size. It's doing really well. So once again we need to move this. I've also got some Jack Be Little pumpkins that we've grown still in the cells, and these dwarf broad beans, desperate for a new home. We have to just keep piling them up and piling them up, and we need to concentrate on the ones that's in the smallest containers, because come next week it's going to be really hot and these are going to constantly dry out. So if we're not careful we could start losing plants. And we've got this as well. That's a Black Beauty, still in its original 9cm pot. Once again, really needs moving on. It's doing its best to put on all that new growth. So we need to accommodate that plant as well. And the more I look through, the more things that I find. These are some early pepper plants that we did. And they didn't come out very well at all. They was growing really slow due to temperatures. And some of them started getting leggy as well. So we thought they're probably not going to amount to anything. And we sowed a load more, which we started potting on already. And we've still got some that we haven't potted on, again in 9cm pots, with roots coming out at the bottom and big sized plants. But because we try and save everything that germinates successfully, we're now in that position where we've got so many plants we don't know what to do with them. So I think I'm going to put some in container garden into a big long container that we've got. It's about 4 foot wide. Last year we had peppers in it and they did okay, they didn't do brilliant. But when I get to this point of year, it's going to take up quite a lot of compost to just keep potting things on and potting them on. When we've got an opportunity to just get them in ground and see how they do. And I could probably get all those in that one container. So we might fill that up this afternoon and get all these in. And at least that's them out of the way. And as if we've not seen enough peppers already for one day. I've just seen this pack. Very young plants, but they're growing really well. They just got planted really late in the year because we tried a new variety. These are basically like your sweet bell peppers, but they don't grow like sweet bell peppers do. These grow long. So they can grow 89 inches in length and they're thin. So they kind of look like a chilli, but they're not hot, they're sweet. And we did a batch of these and they just got destroyed. We had a set of plants indoors, it was quite a while back. And we had a problem, they was constantly getting covered in aphids. We kept bringing them out, blasting them off with water and taking them back. But at the same time, the first batch of these that we did also got covered in aphids and there was very tiny plants. So most of them died. So because that happened, I sowed some more quite late on and I keep forgetting about them. But since it's warmed up and it's quite sunny, there's a good chance that they might come to something. So they're still worth a try. But at least at the moment, we don't really need to move them out of these containers because these ones are quite big. You can also see through them, they're transparent. So you can see if roots are getting a bit too much for area that they're in. And so far, they seem perfectly alright. But we'll see how they get on. And maybe we can get some really late season harvests from these ones. So it might even work out alright after all. I've got another Cherry Falls tomato plant filling up with flowers, lots and lots of flowers on it. And it's a big plant. And we moved it into this 2 litre because it was half this size a few weeks ago. But now it's getting a bit out of hand. It's got to be moved on. We're alright for the moment, and we could just move it into a slightly bigger container. Something like that. And if we pop it in there, it might be alright to stay in there for duration. So again, it's only a bit of compost. We've got that plant moved on then, and we don't have to worry about it no more. It's just my priority this week. We've got too many plants in 2 smaller containers, and other growth's getting restricted. And by end of May, we'll want everything done, because we've still got areas in greenhouse that's not planted up with anything. And unless we get these sorted out, they'll never get anything put in them. So I'm going to leave that in there for the moment. I think I might pop that on into this container a bit later on today. When it comes to tomato plants, again, we've got another one there in a 2 litre pot. And this is not a dwarf variety. This is a full-size plant, and it's called a Sweet Million. So this is in desperate need of getting put in ground. And because we're not paying that much attention to them every day, they're starting to get all these side shoots appearing, and we don't want those. We need to take those off as soon as we see them. Even these little small ones. The plant's going to be putting too much energy into these little side shoots and not enough into growing into a big plant. And again, it's trying to flower as well. So things like that definitely need sorted out. And I think we'll probably clear this ground up in here and we'll put a few of those in. We've already got enough container tomatoes in container garden, and these aren't going to amount to anything unless we do something about it soon. And we've got even more peppers. This were a second batch that I sowed, and these are only in 6cm pots, so they're tiny little plants. And there's 12 more peppers in there. So it looks like we've got us work cut out for us this week. But if we just set aside a day and say, let's get it done, you'd be surprised from early morning till finish at day just how much we can get moved. And I would think pretty much most of that. So we're going to get some compost sieved and we're going to start moving these plants. Because if we don't do it now, we never will, because tomorrow never comes. So it's easy to see how these jobs can soon get on top of you. Apart from all these little jobs that we need to take care of, we've got to stay on top of watering as well. And today happens to be the day where we need to go round and give everything a feed again. Because we're feeding them every 10 to 14 days. And it's just coming up on 14 days now. So apart from all this that we need to sort out, we've got to feed everything, we've got to water everything. So if we don't stay on top of those jobs, before you know it, everything starts to seem a little bit too much all at once. And I think my first one is going to be this plant. I've got a bit of waste compost that I'm going to put in bottom. There's still nutrients in it, it's just really lumpy. But we save it for doing that with. Now I'm topping that up. Popping in some feed. And we'll at least get this one moved today. Let's take it out and see how it's doing. And you can see it's not too bad. It's not root bound, which is a good thing. So a quick freeing of those roots from the bottom of that plant. And we can put it in a container. So we're going to have to dig that down a bit more. Every time I move on tomato plants, I like to bury some of that stem where possible. And that's still a little bit too high. You can't get it right every time, all the time. We'll take another couple of handsful back out of that. But at least we're mixing that feed in at the same time as we're doing this. Try again. And I said that is perfect. Just try and keep it central to that container and try and keep it straight, and then we'll add that compost back in. and obviously a bit more around those edges. Really making sure we've got a good amount of compost, because this plant will now be staying in here. This will be its last move at season. And it's not a bad sized container. And we have put some of these in 12-inch hanging baskets quite recently. So if this don't work, they're going to struggle. There you go, all done. Nice compact little plant, now in its own container with plenty more room to grow. So this can be moved straight down to other greenhouse, and that's one little job out of the way. We know some of these plants are going to grow quicker than others, so we need to put them in a bigger container than we normally would. Like these Jack Little pumpkins, they're not going to stand too long in a small container. They're already getting quite a lot of roots there, so we're better off just moving them straight into a bigger one. So rather than a 9cm, something a little bit bigger. It buys us a bit of time doing that. And once you get going, it's a quick, easy job to do. It's just that sometimes we put jobs off a bit longer than we should. Whenever I move these type of plants on, I always take off those bottom leaves, because they're going yellow anyway, so they're no good. Don't want your plant putting energy into leaves that aren't going to do anything. And of course we all know that yellowing leaves attract slugs, so you're causing yourself another problem. So that's as Jack the Little pumpkin moved on, and it'll stand in there for quite a few more weeks until we're ready to put it outside, or probably in a container. And then there was that Black Beauty. Desperate need of being moved. Lots and lots of roots getting tangled on the bottom of there. So once again, straight in that container, press it down, and then just fill in around it. Easiest way is dropping your soil in if you're trying to get down edges, and then just giving the container a shake, and then it'll settle itself. And that's another one done. Really quick once you start. I've also got some of these, and I forgot all about them. These are called Crimson Sweet. The Melon Plants. And we sowed about 7 or 8, but I think we only ended up with about 3 or 4 that actually came to anything. I think one got eaten by slugs, and then the rest didn't seem to want to grow. But once again, it's in a 9cm pot, so while we're at it, we'll move that on. Because when we ain't got many plants left or any variety, we don't want to risk losing it at this time of year. And this one has barely got any roots showing, which is good, but it doesn't stop us still moving it on. Maybe that'll encourage more root growth. And I'm not putting any feed into these little containers as we plant them on, because everything's going to get a feed this afternoon. We're going to mix up some tomato food this week, because last week we did liquid seaweed. So now we'll use tomato food on everything and see how they get on. One melon plant finished. There is going to be a lot of plants that we might not end up using, but when I get to a certain point where I think we've got enough of everything and I've still got lots left, if nobody in area wants them for free, then I just can't let them go to waste. I can put a little table outside and put all my spare plants on it, and people are quite welcome to pick 1 or 2 up on the way past if it helps them out. But if I have any left, I always end up finding a little area in the garden that's got nothing in it, and I'll dig it all over, and then I'll just chuck in whatever we've got left, all different mixtures of plants. And if we get something, that's a bonus, but if we don't, at least we gave them a chance. So I'm going to crack on and try and get as many of these plants done as I can. We're not going to get everything done all in one day, but if we chip at it every single day in no time at all, that entire job is going to be finished. If you want to see what else we're doing tomorrow, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell. We look forward to seeing you then. Enjoy this sunshine while you can, and take care.